So today's video, what I want to talk about is the importance of foot pressures to get the glutes to subconsciously activate, okay, or fire, whatever you want to call that word, okay, without needing to squeeze the glutes at the top of a movement, okay? So the foot pressure, it's going to be a very vital tool and very useful tool that you can look at to see if that person is truly displaying good movement variability and is able to manage their base of support with an external load or weight. And if we break it down, that's pretty much the key component, besides the obvious of getting strong. One of the big benefits of strength training is we can manage our base of support, okay? But in order to manage our base of support, we need to challenge our base of support. In order to challenge our base of support, the foot pressures are going to be vital, okay? So as Shane goes to do an RDL here, so if you just do a few reps, Shane, and he comes up and down, when I look at someone doing an RDL or when I look at a professional athlete in the gym, all I'm looking at initially is what's happening at the foot, okay? What is happening a lot these days, and especially at the bottom of a squat and deadlifts, is people are coaching to stay on the heel, keep all your weight in the heels. So if you just keep all your weight in the heels, Shane, and do that, the problem with that is as we hip extend, if all your weight is on the heel, then you can't plantar flex. So if you just hold it there. So the importance of plantar flexion is that we're going to delay knee extension to allow the hip joint to do work. If the weight's on the heels, then it's very, very hard for me to delay knee extension because I'm almost in a dorsiflexed position with the ankle, okay? The advantage of plantar flexing as I come into hip extension is we're going to get proximal gastrodistal hamstrings to delay knee extension so the hip has an opportunity to do work. So as Shane goes into hip flexion, I want the weight to come towards the heels, but as he comes up, I want the weight to travel towards the midfoot and forefoot. By Shane getting good tension and intent through the floor with his midfoot and forefoot, his proximal glute max is going to fire subconsciously. There's going to be no need at that position there. If he's got good intent through the floor, his glute max will be firing. A lot of people struggle, okay? Females, you know, want to do a lot of glute work to get the proximal glute max. The proximal glute max, in my opinion, relies heavily on the midfoot and forefoot. If we push through the midfoot and forefoot, Shane doesn't need to arch his back. And Shane's arching his back a little bit too much for me here, which tells me that he doesn't have enough intent even through the midfoot. So if you go back down towards your heels again, Shane, and now come up through the midfoot, I want you to squash an orange through the laces. The big thing that we see here now is how much anterior translation of the hip we saw. So that looked a lot different to the first few reps where Shane was a little bit lazy with his intent. So if you go down towards the heels, weights back, and then weights onto the midfoot and forefoot as he comes up, pushing through those, you can see the actual hip joint is genuinely doing work. Now I want you to keep your weight on your heels, Shane, all the way up as well. Keep your weight on your heels. He's not going to travel half as far, okay? His knees are going to snap back, and then that's going to cause a lot of arching. Now, if we go back to the better way, Shane, in my opinion, on the way down, we get heel, and as we come up, we get midfoot, forefoot. That's going to engage hamstring and proximal gastro, which is going to delay knee extension, which gives the hip time to do decent work, okay? And he should feel his proximal glute max a lot more when he has good intent through his foot. I'm not saying go up on your heels, but what I am saying is use the full foot during the whole lift. So as we go into flexion towards the heels, as we go into hip extension, get the weight off the heel, get it onto midfoot and forefoot. Neurologically, I think that's very important if we look at gait. When my foot hits the floor, I'm heel striking in hip flexion. I'm hip extending as my weight travels towards my midfoot and forefoot. Okay, we're patterned that way neurologically, and I think we need to be implementing that in the gym. The advantage of that is I'm not interested in isolating one part of the foot. I'm not telling him squeeze his glutes. I'm not telling him push through his heels. I'm getting him to use his full foot, much more movement variability. He's managing his base of support now here, and as he goes through, then we're challenging it this way as well, okay? And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much glute you get, how much hamstring you get without having to squeeze these tissues. Give it a go. Let me know your thoughts, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions. I'll speak to you soon.